Hello and welcome to my second video of this tutorial. Mr.NET is here, and in this video, or in the previous video, we create this image, and this image contains different layers, and in this video we want to implement a movement so that we can render this in Unity. To implement the movement, I use the sculpt mode. And inside this mode I can sculpt my figures. So we have on the bottom here the strange, and I use for my layer for my background layer the strange 0.2, and as a radius I take the radius of the tree. Yes, I think that's okay. And then we have here on the bottom our animation view. Now we have to search our layer for the trees. So the layer number 4 are our trees, and all other layers we have to lock. So if I lock all other layers, I can only sculpt my tree. Then I can use this tab here to change the length of my animation. And my length of the animation is 80 frames. So I use the mouse wheel to zoom inside this window. Yes, that's fine. Well, so and now to implement the movement, I have the first layer, then I use here the second layer, and I drag with my mouse from left to right for each layer. So after I reached the layer 40, I can move and see that the trees are moving. Well, now I lock the trees and I search the layer with the grass in the background. So that's the layer number 5. I open this layer, I go back to layer 1, and I also change the radius of my sculpting tool to 50. That's enough. And now I do the same. I drag from left to right to layer 40. After I reached the layer 40, I check if it works. Yes, and we see that the black grass is moving from left to right. Now I close this layer and I go to the next layer, and I also change the strange from 0.2 to 0.003. I open this layer, go back to frame number 2, and I also drag from left to right. Well, after I need the layer 40, the frame 40, I check if it works, yes, and we see that the green layer here is also moving. So I go back to frame 2, close the layer 6 and the layer 7 is my last layer, or my layer in the foreground, and I also change the strange from 0.003 to 0.004 to have a different animations between the grasses. So I'm layer 7, and now I also drag from left to right after I reach the layer 40. Oh, I reach the layer 40 and I check how it looks. Yes, I think it looks okay. Also, I want to implement an animation in my sky, so I want to implement some frames for my stars, but not with the sculpt mode. I go into the edit mode, click on one of the stars, or I mark it. Oh, the layer is closed, so don't forget to open it. And on layer 2 I press the button S on my keyboard, and now I can scale this star. So I use S, make it a little bit greater. For each frame, and now if I move with this frame, we see that the star looks so that he is shining. So I mark this, I press right click and duplicate this one. I duplicate these frames here. Well, now if I play this animation, okay, but I think I delete some keyframes. In the middle of my animation for the star. Yes, I think that looks better. So if I set the end of the animation to frame 40, and if I start the animation, we see that this is our animation. The trees and the grass is moving to the right very slowly, and now we have to move it back to the start position. To do that, I set the end of the animation to the frame 80, then I open all frames which has an animation, I mark it, then I do right click, left click, duplicate these frames. Always right click and then go to mirror by values over 0. So if I click the values, we see that the frames are mirrored here from 40 to 80 to minus 40 to minus 80, and now with the key G on my keyboard I can move all these frames to this position. I zoom into my key window and I start the animation. So I go down and we see that's our animation for the background. Now we have to export it so that we can use it in Unity, and for that I click here to the printer symbol and choose in the output menu here inside an output folder. So I have to search a folder, or I have to create a folder. I call the folder English background. After I select the folder, we see that I have here an English background folder, and after the last backslash I can also enter a name. I said background, and the number are inserted from Blender. Then I go to the camera here, to the menu film, and do it transparent. After that I go to the button render and say render animation. Now we see the animation is rendering, and for each frame I get into my folder a new picture. We see Blender is creating for each frame a new picture. Now we have to wait after this rendering is completed. After Blender renders all pictures, I have in my folder 80 pictures. For each frame I get a picture. Well, that's it for this video. Hopefully you like it. So if you know a better method to create this animation, please write this into the comment, and hopefully I see you in the next video. Bye!